Hi, my name is Scott Strohs, and this is MySQL Shorts. I would like to start by clearing up some confusion about Windows functions. They are not, in any way, related to the operating system with a similar name. In a previous video, we talked about how we can partition our data when using window functions. Partitions are used on all of the rows and specify how we want our data divided. Today, we'll talk about window frames. Window frames are a way to define what rows are relevant to the current row in a query. A window frame is used to define a range of rows that are relevant to the current row of a query. We can specify how many rows to include using a rows clause, or we can specify a range of values to include using a range clause. In our first example, we will show the syntax for defining a set number of rows to include. First, note that we are using sum as a window function. Most aggregate functions in MySQL can also be used as a window function. We specify that our data should be partitioned by the group name column and ordered by the value in the points column in descending order. Lastly, we define our window frame as rows unbounded preceding. This tells MySQL to use every row that precedes the current row in the partition when calculating the sum of the points. If you haven't figured it out yet, this gives us a running total of points for each row in the query. We see in the results that for each row, the number of points the player scored is added to our running total. If you don't believe me, feel free to pause the video and do the math yourself. Notice that when we start listing players in Group B, the running total starts over. This is because we are partitioning the data by the group name. In our next example, we want to count the number of players who are below the current player in the rankings and within 10 points of that player. To do this, we use a range clause to define our window frame. We use range between current row and 10 following. This tells MySQL to include all rows from the current row to any following rows where the difference in points is 10 or less. I add the -1 here because the points value from the current row is included in this calculation, and we don't want it to be. Looking at the results of this query, we see that one person is within 10 points of Todd Sharp in Group A, and 4 people are within 10 points of Marcia Roble in Group B. Once again, if you don't trust these results, feel free to pause the video and do the math. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe. Also, there'll be a link in the description for any code or files we used during this video.